Whatever you guys want to do, man, I'm game. So
Cool.
So you want to walk around or sit or?
Yeah, we want to just kind of figure out, I guess, in terms of your like daily kind of life, like what is your a normal day for you look like? What do you do, and what are some of the places that you would spend time at?
Normally what I do is I sit in coffee shops all day.
Okay.
But what I do is sometimes I'll walk like in the middle of the day, like after lunch. I'll come from a place like this, go back to my RV, have some lunch, and then go for a walk, just like walk a couple blocks, and then go to this other coffee shop and sit there the rest of the day and work. So, but that's, you know, I mean, I can do anything you guys are interested in doing. We can go to the park, or we can, if you guys want to get like some really cool scenery, we can drive up to Stunt, you know, and get the mountain view. It's pretty spectacular. You get the ocean and you can get the whole city in the shot. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
If you do that later in the day.
Yeah, totally. So I think it would be cool to shoot in your RV because that way we can do the interview there, and
also like not be the sun is like not that great right now. The light.
It's pretty harsh. Yeah.
So like if we can be inside, that would be better.
Yeah. I mean, just so you understand, it's a little Toyota RV, so it's pretty small in there.
I think we can make it work.
That's cool.
With one
I mean,
camera,
and also just be prepared because, I mean, the weirdest stuff happens, you know, like all of a sudden, you know, some guy who never mows starts mowing, and then some truck will pull up and the engine's idling, and, you know, people are arguing. And so, I mean, believe it, when I start working on interviews and stuff, I get this a lot. And, you know,
I've seen some of the stuff that you shot in the RV, I think, that you did like to camera, right, at night.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine.
Wait, so what? Like you're doing an interview and like that just happens randomly, or you're saying it's not random?
Oh, no, it's not. I mean, that's what I'm trying to say is that, you know, don't expect the weird on this because you'll get, I mean, I'll get people, you know, doing all kinds of stuff. I mean, I get what's called idle stalking. People will drive right up to my RV, and not just one, but two, and they'll sit there with the engine running right next to it, you know, right when I'm there. And of course, if I leave, everybody will leave, and there'll be nobody there, you know. So.
Right. So there's a chance that we might get interference like that.
Right.
Shoot.
You know, so just.
So we'll just talk about that if that's the case.
I mean, it's
it'll just add to the drama, I guess, you know.
Okay.
But if the noise doesn't screw up your shoot, then
we'll come to let's just start there and we'll see what happens.
Like, I just want to give you the backdrop. Tyler lives out here, and we've worked on a bunch of things together.
Okay.
But he doesn't know a lot about the TI world as much. You know, I've been spending months researching this and talking to people. He's a camera guy, so he's kind of been thrown into this. So a lot of the stuff he's hearing from you might be kind of weird and freakish to him.
Okay,
yeah, but
so
I'm cool.
We'll try to explain it to you, but I don't think you don't have to worry that you're not like in any acute danger in any kind of sense as far as I'm feeling. Basically.
There we go. Whoa.
Are you in the shot?
You know, what's really cool is when I zoom in on these guys, a lot of times they'll be looking right at you. You know, if you get a good shot of the window, and if you slow it down, you know, do the slow down and everything.
I want to get a lot of this stuff on camera, so
I think we should go back. I think we should do the trailer first. Just
do the trailer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go to the RV first.
Because before lunch we'll only have about an hour. By the time we set up, we'll only have like a half an hour. So maybe why don't we shoot a little bit here and then go back to the RV, because then we can just have a burger right over here, because the burger joints over there kind of suck.
Okay.
I mean, we could.
Let me just walk in and ask them about shooting first, just to make sure that we know that it's actually okay.
I'm pretty much set up. So
you're built and like good to go.
Much, yeah.
Okay.
To go,
but what I want to do is, if you're seeing stuff like that and you're getting a shot of one of the helicopters, let's make sure we get some of that stuff on camera, because that's sort of
that'll
yeah. Well, he goes and asks them for permission. Let's go. I'm gonna throw a mic on you.
Okay.
All right.
Sure.
All right.
All right, so we got our cameraman Taylor, and we got our video man Sebastian.
What's going on?
And we're live on the Richard Bruce channel, filming the show for HBO. Nice.
We're not on HBO.
HBO money. All right. I don't care what you say. HBO money, baby. No. All right. So I didn't think we were coming back here. So I'll try to clear up the huge mess No, I'm just kidding. Not too bad.
Don't try to, don't worry about us. Like,
No, don't worry. It's not too bad.
we're not trying to get impressed or anything like that.
No, it's not that bad. It's just
my apartment. I lived in messy apartments for years and years, so I totally get it.
okay. Let's see. Do I need anything in here? Yeah, I need the computer and everything. Actually, I think this is kind of funny. Can you believe I live this way, dude?
My grandparents used to have an RV that is almost exactly like this one. And when I was a kid, we would borrow it, and my family would take road trips in it with like me and my 2 brothers and my parents.
Cool. Yeah, it's
I think it was a Toyota too. It was called like the Sunbird or something. Or
Sunraider.
The Sunraider, yeah.
I had an '87 Sunraider for 10 years. I lived in that baby. All right, be prepared to be underwhelmed. I darken out the windows so
No, that's great for us.
people don't know that I'm living in here quite as much. Of course, they figure it out, but I don't like to advertise it too much. But anyway, welcome to my humble abode.
It looks like a boat.
Yeah. This is the official Richmobile.
Cool.
And so let's see, I'm gonna move some of this stuff here.
I've lived in smaller New York apartments than this.
Have you?
Yep.
No way. Really?
Yeah. I mean,
Smaller than this?
like where my room was like this size, basically.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I mean, when you see the way the rest of the world lives, it's a luxury accommodation. Okay,
Yeah.
That is the wire.
We could do 2 cameras, or we could do what I just did with this other .com piece. Is we shot 4K, so we could punch in for 1080.
Yeah, I'd rather not do that.
Okay. I'm okay to do 2 cameras. It makes it easier for us to edit, and it gives us more stuff to work with.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's only worth it if you think you have usable shots, and it's not going to get too crowded.
For sure. Yeah. Sebastian, you got the other sticks?
Yep.
Now this is what I need. I could really bust some reptoids with this thing.
Cool stick.
Maneuvering.
Yep.
So that's cool. You must have a really groovy job then with the vise. Haven't you been there that long?
It's not that groovy. It's a job though, but it's always good in bad moments, like any job.
Still, it's... Cool, man. I got the whole rig in here. I love it.
It's tight, but we can make it work. You're in this frame right here. Are you trying to stay this wide on it, or?
I wanted to see.
I think wide is cool in here, actually.
I'm definitely not set up, so.
Yeah.
I guess I better sit so you can get your shot.
Yeah. Let's just do it now and just see what's up.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I mean, let's just do it like this.
Just like it.
Yeah, except if we adjust, then it's going to be a matching.
Yeah, it won't work. You need to have it. It's either closed or open, pretty much. I would recommend.
Can I see you closed?
Yeah, let's just see it closed because.
Did we get all the stuff inside or locked up?
I mean, we could do it. You could take a chance. It's just I somehow get the end.
I wonder if would it be a hassle to take off the black cover, because there's a window in there, right?
Yeah, we could.
Whatever.
Let's do this.
Okay. Let's go with this. We got it. Let's do it. Let's roll. You good?
Yeah, move a little over here more. Yeah, like that.
Year that it started.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want me to say my name and then the area, or just
your
okay.
name and then the backstory? Like, my name is Richard Bruce, and I've been a gang stalking victim since the date.
Okay. The gang stalking experience started for me when I uploaded my first full feature study of the movie The Matrix, which I had seen on another channel, another YouTube movie maker, provided a documentary showing how that there were non-features in this movie, and I was familiar with this movie growing up here in Hollywood, and that movie was a very popular, well-known movie that I was part of, kind of like my cult youth. So I said, well, I don't own the Blu-ray, so I run over to Fry's, get the Blu-ray, put it in, and when I went through it frame by frame after recording the LCD footage, which is essentially taking my high-def camera to my high-def TV and then rolling it back frame by frame, I was able to confirm what this guy, Frequency Fence was the name of the YouTube channel, had confirmed, which is that you can see these non-human features on people. I'm talking about claws, fangs, or whatever. And when I made a full 40-minute feature on that entitled Reptilian Matrix Message in January 2013, within 15 minutes of uploading this movie to YouTube, I had like 7 or 8 helicopters hovering directly over my apartment like there was a drug bust in my building. I thought that this was a drug bust. I thought that they were going to, cops were going to storm the place and everything, so I was waiting for what was going to happen. I had no idea until later on in the day when helicopters kept zooming over my apartment, one after the other, and I started to get the picture. Wait a minute, there's something wrong here. There's helicopters flying over my apartment on a continual basis, starting with this low volume noise, and then it gets louder and louder and louder, and then the whole apartment shakes. I'm on the 3rd floor, top floor of this Woodland Hills apartment building, and then it goes, lie, and it keeps happening, and it begins to dawn on me that something is going on. And then it didn't take me long. I think it popped into my mind pretty quick. Oh my God, is this from what I uploaded to YouTube? Because the whole thing was so freaky at first. Like when you're seeing these non-human features, you're like, oh my God, what is this? What could possibly be going on? And that's what happened. And this continued on for, it was starting every day. And then I noticed these black SUVs and other police vehicles driving slowly along the street as I would walk out of my apartment to go to the mall or to go to shopping or whatever, because I could walk to a lot of places from where I was. And I noticed them driving slowly along the street. I'm like, kind of wondering what's going on here. But they never came up to me or said anything. And then this really started to pick up when I started to go driving in my car. I noticed I would get police lighting up. I'm talking about Los Angeles Police Department vehicles lighting up their sirens and not pulling me over, but zooming around me, almost like a continual tactic. I would drive anywhere, all of a sudden, whoo, and okay, and they're pulling, so then they would pull over some guy behind me, and I'd see him actually pull him over. But this happened so much that I was inspired to buy a dash camera, which I did. And when I uploaded, I finally got a really good clip of them pulling in front of me and then pulling away in a period of less than 5 minutes in an obvious fashion, wherein they really shouldn't have any other reason to do that. And I uploaded that with some reptilian shapeshifter footage, and I named it Your Taxes for My Reptilian LAPD Escort. And when I uploaded that 5-minute movie to YouTube, that form of gang stalking almost completely stopped. I still got some, but it mostly abated. But I continued to get the air stalking, which is aircraft flying overhead, mostly Los Angeles Police Department helicopters, but believe it or not, Los Angeles Fire Department helicopters and other unmarked helicopters. I don't know what types of what they were, or government helicopters, whatever. But this thing was so obvious, and I realized that a lot of people in my building, especially where I was living right over here, I knew that they must know something was up, and but it's like people didn't really talk about it, and I didn't want to tell everybody, oh yeah, I'm afraid all this traffic is from me uploading stuff to YouTube, because I at first I knew that's what was happening, but it's hard to wrap your head around it, and I didn't want everybody to hate me for causing all this racket, because I mean, you know, I felt like, oh my God, if everybody knows I'm doing this, they're going to evict me or something, you know. So that's how it basically started, and you know, I even within I think it was let's see, January. Well, it was within a few months, I had 4 Los Angeles Police Department officers come to my door, and what was interesting about that was that when I heard the knock on my door, and I said, "Who is it?" and they said, "Los Angeles Police Department," right there, I knew what they were there for. I knew that they were there to, I didn't know, you know, they're going to try to arrest me or something like that. I mean, like I said, at first I was really scared when this happened. I'm like, oh my God, you know, I mean, they're going to arrest me, or they're going to beat me up, or, you know, what's going to happen? They're going to, you know, I thought they were going to douche me. I mean, you know, put an end to me. And, but they didn't. And, so I opened the door, and there's 4 LAPD, and the guy says, so we're looking for this guy named Preston that was living here. He was the previous tenant. And he says, do you know him? And I said, no. I mean, I moved in here 8 months ago, and never met him. You know, I guess he was the former tenant. And they said, yeah, he's on parole, something, and we're here to check on him. And as I looked at him, I can just, you know, this is my conjecture, I can just tell you my experience was that I knew what they were there for, and he knew by the expression on my face that he knew that I knew what they were there for. So I looked out the door and I said, need a lot of officers to get this guy. He must be some must be some baddie, you know. And this, I could tell by their expressions, they're kind of like, yep. And but my heart was racing. I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, my heart was racing, because this guy there was something funky about him. I've had plenty of dealings with LAPD. I have LAPD in my family. I know how they work. I've talked to police all the time, and there was something weird about this guy, and there was something weird about there was 3 other females that were with him, and one of them kind of went like, this guy, knows, he's giving us the guff to our face, because we're here really about, to try to apply some pressure. And then I noticed other weird stuff. They started building some sort of communications bin right next to the parking lot in the AT&T service call center. That's what was right next to my apartment, sandwiched between my apartment building and the Topanga Plaza Mall, which is a large, opulent mall that I lived right across the street from. And I noticed something strange about it, because when I went out there, this guy was looking at me like, you're the reason why we're doing this. It was just that weird feeling. And again, that's pure conjecture. I don't know, but I can just tell you that the whole thing was weird. It was just like, my life changed from normal civilian, quiet graphic artist, not very assuming, not doing anything unusual. I have no mob affiliations. I'm not involved in any sort of drug activity. I lead a 100% lawful life. You can check my record. I have no priors whatsoever. Nothing on record. No past. No questionable associations. And here I am getting followed by Los Angeles Police Department and other weird things happening that are clearly, the department has to know. I mean, they have to know what's going on. How can they not know? How can something this big not be clearly understood by everybody who's working there? And at the same time, I get the feeling that, what I mean by that is at least, this has to be cleared with the higher ups. But that doesn't mean that everybody knows about it. For instance, the family member that I have that is former retired Los Angeles Police Department, also fire department, I don't think he obviously knew about it. In fact, I tried to tell him about UFOs one time, and he hung up the phone on me. He just did. Some people cannot take anything about extraterrestrials or UFOs. They just can't stand that subject. So I don't know. I mean, maybe they're in on it at some subconscious level. That was one thought that I had. But so this has to be authorized. I mean, the government has to know about it. How can this can't be like some rogue group operating, some shadowed thing, and nobody knows about it, because I mean, to be using helicopters, even if they're so-called, holograms or whatever, but I mean, I think a lot of them were real. They can't do all that with fuel and logistics and everything else without, authorization. So It has to be. That's what gave me the realization that, well, if it's this saturated into the system, I mean, here I am. They're making illegal use of law enforcement vehicles to hassle me, to gang stalk, intimidate, harass me for uploading a movie showing non-humans, nothing pornographic, nothing aimed at racial groups, nothing questionable like that, where you can say there's something that is some kind of security risk. The only thing this was showing non-human features that is generally in between frames of movie footage. As I said, when I took apart the movie The Matrix and saw these non-human features that somebody else had seen, this was a follow-up work. This guy already had a movie up about it for a long time. So it's that had to be what this was about.
And so how, once you became a victim of this gang stalking, how do you think it has affected your life overall? Like, what sort of...
Hold on, actually. Can we cut for a second? I want to switch the lens.
Okay.
Okay, gang stalking in my opinion, it's a psychological warfare tactic used against threats to the, you might say, current world empire or new world order, or, if you ask me, satanic world order. Gang stalking is a method that is used to wear down a person emotionally to a point where they are so stressed out that they can apply any number of tactics at a certain point and hopefully throw that person so out of balance that they commit a crime, commit suicide, whatever. And these gang stalking tactics can be anything from street theater, like people coming out of their houses at the same exact time, people driving by and honking at a certain time. It can be electronic weapons that cause any number of ailments, from headaches to nausea. There's voice to skull. People hear voices in their heads, and they keep hearing the same thing over and over again, telling them to commit suicide, which is another clue that it's a diminishing tactic. It's like what somebody would use if they couldn't kill you right away. What they needed to do was kill you slowly, and preferably with your own decision, so that really the blood is on your hands, not theirs. And this, just so you understand, my study of this shows that although these tactics that they use seem so petty, like flying a helicopter over my head every time I come home, or an airplane or something like that, and it seems like such a petty thing to spend so much money on, the fact is they wouldn't use this tactic if it didn't work. It works by they don't think in terms of short term, like, a couple of weeks or a couple of months. These are, one of the things to understand about gang stalking is, I happen to believe that it's a non-human, non-sourced behavior. In other words, they may be using humans using electronic, man-made equipment for this, but the ultimate directive and where it's coming from is from non-humans, which the relevant point being that they live a lot longer than we do. So they have planning, that they see things over a longer stretch of time than we do. Susan Reed, in her book, says that the reptilian that she talked to told her that you will not understand the way reptilians think. So that's a key thing to think about this. It's confusing to humans trying to understand gang stalking. Why? Why would they do this? Why would they do this to me? Why would they do these weird, petty little things that, may even just irritate me at some moment, or make me, maybe afraid for one moment, but it's not going to kill me. It's not going to put an end to me right there. You have to think of it in terms of long term. So I think if you were to ask me what gang stalking is, it's a way to slowly kill people using their own decisions, hopefully. But I do think they do take out people once they become destabilized to a certain point, and or some people that are immediate threats, as I believe was the case with myself, they send assassins to come and kill you. And I believe that is what happened to me. They sent a couple of serpents to come and literally eat me. And when they did so, they were destroyed by God on the way. as in the scripture, Psalm 27:2, when my enemies and my foes came to eat up my flesh. Think about that. Would a human being do that? So why would that be in the scripture? When my enemies and my foes come to eat up my flesh, they stumbled and fell. And it came into my mind, and I cannot confirm any of this. Anybody can just say it's pure conjecture, and you're absolutely right. All I can do is tell you is that what happened to me was it came into my mind that what God revealed to me was that when Paul Walker and his friend got in their $500,000 Porsche over here in Santa Clarita, when they came to drive over here, and they crashed into the only gas line in the area, and they both burned alive in his brand new $500,000 Porsche, that was the stumbling and falling. And they were coming to eat up my flesh. When my enemies and my foes came to eat up my flesh, they stumbled and fell. I know that's very weird, but another thing happened. Two other things happened that were along those lines. I had a great big bright green flash about 7 p.m. at night. This is about 3 months into this, and everybody saw it in my building. Everybody came out to the balcony like, what the heck was that? And they're just like, whoa, because it was like this huge electronic sonic boom explosion and this bright green flash, unmistakably. The whole thing just went green, and it was at night. And it came into my mind again later that it was a super soldier on his way to finish me off, because apparently this they don't want to get out. And the other weird thing about this is where it really starts to get weird. The time travel thing is a relevant issue. This is what's really weird. Now, if you look up Andrew Basaggio, if you just type in that name on YouTube, Andrew Basaggio, he's a witness of these time travel machines that they've got. And also there's other witnesses too. Al Bielek, if you type in the Al Bielek testimony, he's got a 6-hour movie talking about how he was in the U.S. military time control apparatus. And I came to realize after I thought about this that one of the reasons that they apply gang stalking to people is to get them before they start whatever activity that they know that they're going to start, which is going to get them. See, we're getting one of our friends here. I don't know if you can hear that on the audio, but we're getting a buzz right now. And on certain topics that I'll bring up, I'll get buzzed. As I was mentioning before, certain things that you think or certain things that you say, and they will. And it's really weird. There's a guy that has a video up on gang stalking, in which he calls the gang stalking that he got MOGS, MOGS, machine operated gang stalking, and this is used to minimize people. But as I was getting to, the tactic of gang stalking, the biggest clue came to me was the interview, I think it's on Project Camelot, of Simon Parks. And if you look up that guy on YouTube, Parks is a P-A-R-K-E-S, Parks. He claims to be a half reptilian, half mantis soul in a human body. And what he gleaned, what he learned from his association with the mantids, these mantis being aliens, insectoids, as other people call them. The Bible calls them scorpions. He says that what they do is they identify certain soul types that they know are going to cause trouble for their operation. Their world operations, in which they apparently, according to sources like Alex Collier, he's a Palladian contact, if you look him up, very interesting testimony. They can see through time. They control other planets. They control whole planets, and their experience with these pre-space worlds, is that they can predict through certain types of people who will be a problem. Derek Robinson, that we just were talking about, said that his statistics show that they target women more, and also minorities more, and the Caucasians are actually the number one. Caucasian women are the number one gang stalking victims, according to his numbers. And I haven't done more research on that, so I don't know if that's currently accurate, but it sounds about right. He also says that single people are more targeted. This may be, I was considering this, is that there are a lot of psychic mediums. For instance, the psychic medium that's supposed to be the famous one who was the one who was talking with the Aldebarans that gave the Germans their advanced technology to make their so-called, if you believe in the story, and I do, their advanced flying saucer vehicles, which they escaped with into Antarctica. So the reason women might be more gang stalking victims than men is that more women have more, maybe they're more psychic. I don't know. That's kind of like, it seems like women maybe have a more of a propensity or ability to sense that the psychic elements, and then when they wake up to that through their psychic senses, their natural psychic senses, then they might start to fight the reptilian cabal that might be, if you believe that's the case, controlling the world.